Today we're making the best comfort food ever. And my oldest daughter's favorite dinner, we're making slow cooker meatballs. Hi there, I'm Nikki Sizemore. Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're making slow cooker turkey meatballs and homemade marinara sauce. This recipe actually comes from my book, Fresh Flavors for the Slow Cooker. And I have to tell you, the slow cooker is a game changer when it comes to cooking meatballs because it turns them so tender and so juicy, even when you're using lean ground turkey like we're doing today. So this recipe is a weeknight staple for us. It's the meal I make my oldest daughter every year on her birthday, but it's also awesome for entertaining or parties. You can serve the meatballs over spaghetti or in hoagies or subs, sliders, or even just on their own with some crusty bread for mopping up that sauce. I'm getting hungry just talking about it. So let's get cooking. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you won't miss out on any of my wholesome, family-friendly, and gluten-free meals. This is a 2-minute homemade marinara sauce, but it is so good. You don't need the jarred stuff. It's super salty. This way you can really control all of the flavors. 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. We're gonna pour this right into the slow cooker like this. And then we're gonna season it up a little bit. I have some dried oregano, smells like pizza, and ground fennel. This is one of my favorite spices. It's really subtle, but it lends the sauce a little bit of sweetness. And we're gonna be using both of these spices in the meatballs themselves as well. We have a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar. This is gonna balance out the acidity and the tomatoes. And then we have 3 garlic cloves. And what I like to do for this sauce is simply crush them and leave them whole. That way they will infuse the sauce with lots of flavor, but it won't be too strong. One last ingredient, let me grab it from the fridge. All right, I've got a tablespoon of butter. So let me grab a spoon so I can stir this together. The butter is going to give the sauce lots of body and richness. Remember, we're using lean ground turkey. It's not gonna release that much fat. So the butter is gonna round everything out. And we're just going to dot that over the top. All right, the sauce is made. I'm gonna straighten up a little bit and then grab the ingredients for the meatballs. For the meatballs, I have a pound of lean ground turkey. I actually don't recommend using ground beef for this recipe because the sauce is gonna be so greasy, but the turkey is gonna be so tender, you won't miss it. So let's just dump everything in the bowl. I have 1 beaten egg. Those spices again, I'm gonna use a teaspoon of the dried oregano. It's gonna give the meatballs so much flavor, and a 1/4 teaspoon of that ground fennel. Then we have some dried breadcrumbs. I'm using gluten-free breadcrumbs, and grated Parmesan cheese, grated garlic. I'm just gonna use my microplane and grate that right in. And then last but not least, some baby spinach. And this is going to sneak in some added nutrition, but it's also going to help keep the meatballs super moist. So I'm just gonna finely chop this. All right. Last but not least, we need a teaspoon of kosher salt and some black pepper. I'm gonna mix this together with a fork. You don't wanna over mix this, otherwise you can end up with some really tough, tough balls. This looks good. I'm going to grab a piece of parchment paper and we're gonna form the meatballs, put them in the slow cooker, and then all of our work is done. So before I make the meatballs, I have to admit something to you. I sliced off the top of my thumb, so it kind of looks disgusting, but I promise you it's not bleeding, it's not bloody. It is perfectly okay, and it's coated with like a liquid Band-Aid, so I'm not going to contaminate the meatballs. These are the problems when you cook for a living. So all I'm going to do is form this mixture into 16 golf ball size meatballs. Meatballs are formed while my hands are still dirty. I'm gonna go ahead and nestle them into my slow cooker. Now you do need a 6 to 7 quart slow cooker for these meatballs because you want to arrange them in a single layer, so it needs to be big enough. If you don't have one, you can pile them up a little bit, but they will stick together. All right, you're gonna cook these on high for 1.5 to 2.5 hours, or on low for 2.5 to 3.5 hours. But remember, all slow cookers are different, so just keep your eye on them. You just wanna cook the meatballs until they are white all the way through. Oh, the meatballs are ready to go. They smell amazing. You can see it's gonna look a bit mottled on the surface. Don't worry, it's all going to come together when we give it a stir. All right, today I'm gonna serve the meatballs over spaghetti, but as I mentioned, you could stuff them inside of hoagies or sliders, or just serve them all on their own. And actually, I forgot, my favorite way to eat them is over my creamy grits, which I will link to below. I'm gonna pile the meatballs onto this bowl of spaghetti and then spoon a bunch of that sauce over top. This is the ultimate comfort food. Let's do one more. One more, why not? All right, so it wouldn't be spaghetti and meatballs in my house without some Parmesan cheese. And I usually sprinkle these with chopped basil, but we don't have any. So one of my hacks for that is just to use a little bit of store-bought pesto if you don't have any fresh basil. And that's gonna give you kind of the same feeling, that freshness on top. Totally optional. You do not need to do this if you do not want. I gotta admit, I go big on the Parmesan. I was the kid at the restaurant where they'd ask if you want any more Parmesan, and I would just keep saying yes. Until my parents were like, maybe that's enough. Let's give it a try. I know why this was my daughter's favorite dinner. It is so good. You will not miss the beef in these meatballs, I promise you. They are so flavorful, and unlike most turkey meatballs, they are so juicy and tender. You can get a ton of other slow cooker recipes in my book, Fresh Flavors for the Slow Cooker, and on my website, of course. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.